Cesar, running your brand and you have been successful in on a short. Uh, how did you manage to grow your brand successfully? You mentioned earlier that relationship is the key, and that you are able to communicate and connect with your end consumers. But when you started on with your business uh, at a scale, what was your vision that okay, within the next year I wanted to become reach this goal, the next year this goal. How did you manage? What kind of strategies did you adopt it each year to reach that scale?
So the vision was definitely there, but usually it changes. Anyone that says, "Oh, it's gonna be this," they're wrong. Usually it's something completely different. In a short period of time, it starts to change. But at first, we franchised the business. So I said, I definitely don't want to be a brick and mortar player.
Mm-hmm,
And I said it back in 2013.
mm-hmm,
Like brick and mortar is going to fail. It's just a dying model, and so on. It's just too much exposure. And look now. It doesn't allow you to navigate through
mm-hmm.
any environment, right? So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? What can I do? I could create like a digital real estate. So what I did was sell a franchise model that
Mm-hmm,
had kind of like a buy-in, sell inventory with it that comes with a buy-in,
mm-hmm,
and then everybody gets a mirror website. So
mm-hmm,
every state, every country would have a different buy-in, and
mm-hmm.
we would just sell a whole bunch of inventory. And my model on the back end was that's how I raised cash to
Uh-huh.
be able to really reinvest it into the
Mm-hmm,
direct to consumer business.
mm-hmm,
Uh, so that blew up very quickly. Why?
mm-hmm.
Because everybody back then, and even more now, but back then everybody wanted to be an influencer. Everybody wanted to be a part of, fashion. Everybody always wants to be a part of fashion. Fashion is cool. And then the way we marketed the brand, it was engaging, and people just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
The problem that I saw is that a lot of people that were buying into this were either business owners or they had good jobs that made good income, so they had the money to buy in, but they
Yeah.
didn't necessarily know how to grow it, right? So that took 2 years to realize I'm like, this is something I need to exit out of,
Mm-hmm,
right? So some of them, their contracts died. Others, I had to buy out. And then in mid 2016, late 2017 is really when we opened the Shopify store.
uh-huh.
Uh, in 2017, is when we discovered, wow, you could invest a couple of bucks into Facebook ads and see a pretty good return you
Mm-hmm,
know and then I manage that because I usually manage everything at one point to understand it. Otherwise I hire somebody, you
mm-hmm,
know they say it's going to cost X and I have no idea what they're doing, so I try to get my feet wet in everything right before I
mm-hmm.
delegate.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and after I delegated my Facebook ad spend when I was at about 150 bucks a day.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously now we spend thousands.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've gone through 3 agencies
Mm-hmm.
already, and now I'm with I was with the most expensive agencies. But to do that, you have to understand how the whole flow works.
Right.
Uh, and so now the model that we built, which I'm very proud of, I think is very ahead of its time, is
Yeah.
instead of having a whole bunch of employees that I
Mm-hmm,
have to manage their emotions,
mm-hmm,
and things of that nature, and obviously everything that's happening now, I hire agencies.
mm-hmm.
So we have very little employees. We have agencies all over the world that are on 24/7. I marry them. And so, I oversee everything, and it allows me, most importantly, which I think is where the big disconnect with brands right now
Mm-hmm.
is that they lose that in-person, like one-to-one communication. I think
Uh-huh.
it's very powerful
Yeah.
that if you have a brand that's generating great profits, right, that's doing really well on the back end,
Mm-hmm,
but seems like a one-man show,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So it seems like the digital, like the online, the owner, the founders are always talking to the people.
Yeah.
Maybe even the founders are on the ads.
Yeah.
I've I've noticed, because the numbers always tell you. I've noticed that their retention is so much higher because people think that they're doing business with you always.
True.
And so to be able to do that, you
Yeah.
have to almost be able to have these agencies and these apps and leverage, because all these apps already have all the things that these big businesses are trying to build. They
Yeah.
already have that. They're experts in specific industries. So
Mm-hmm.
you pay them, you marry them, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get scale. You don't have the inventory problem. You don't
Yeah.
have ad spend scales. It doesn't matter. You can handle all the inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturers are on point. You can handle that too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's understanding it, letting the numbers do the talking, listening to the customer. The collections, go into collections. Every time we design something, we design something really with our customer. So that's why we never have a collection that fails. We never have a fabric that fails. We
Wow.
also have a just-in-time model. I'm
Mm-hmm.
allergic to inventory. I'm
Mm-hmm.
allergic to real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just keep it just in time, keep a rapid turnaround time. You're never going to have 100% customer satisfaction. You're always going to have a couple of people complaining, but
Mm-hmm.
you do your best with those that are really, really happy. You learn from your mistakes,
Yeah.
and try to delegate as much as possible while still keeping that personal touch.
Wow.
I hope that makes sense. It's a lot of info.
It's you brought a great point there. So you have taken a very unique approach to scaling up the business, and I think it's really working out. And it's just a matter of making sure that you are able to sell to the right stakeholders, and the
Right.
end goals are kind of aligned. Everyone is aligned towards that goal. So that's excellent thought you brought there. Wow. Uh, Samantha, I have this next question for you.